All right. Okay. So, I've sent out the notices. I've done everything. What's going on, guys? Let me move that. I didn't even bother to set... I didn't set my stuff up completely or anything. There. Now my mic is over here where it goes. I know. Hey, what can I say? Super professional here, okay? I'm super professional. So, I've been thinking about this for a while. In fact, we talked about this in like my last live stream. I've been fighting with myself about how to do the top 10 at the end of the year. Because this is not something that I normally do. And yes, I noticed that I have been hitting the lives hard lately. That is not an understatement. I've just, all of a sudden, I found myself with the time to do a couple of them, so I've been knocking them out. It's really no more complicated than that. And I got to get back to some of the camera stuff and finish up the shelves and everything like that. And this kind of opens up to be able to keep moving easier. And in all honesty, I enjoy lives. It's just something that I don't get a chance to focus on very often. But what's the idea here? Well, I went back through my catalog and found every single video that opened, reviewed a toy this year. Every single one of them. That puts me at a little over 103 figures. And I actually think it's a little more than that, because some of these videos actually had like 2 or 3 that were included in the video. The idea is that I basically took a screenshot, or a thumbnail rather, of every single one of those videos. So I'm going to pull them up and I'm going to go through the entirety of every single thing that we did this year. And this channel did a lot more than I expected, in all honesty. And as we go through, we are going to delete the ones. So I'm going to just basically delete the pictures. We're going to run through them and figure out what makes sense. What are the figures in general that make sense for the end of the year? What were the 10 best? Let me do this so that all my stuff is clear. Bring that up, set this, and move that over there. Put this up here. Okay. That's what we're going to do. That's my idea today. I want to go through every single one of them and eliminate one by one figures and toys that we did this year and figure out what was the top 10 best toys that I covered this year. And my show is different than other people's. A lot of people are very up to date with what they do. They mostly talk about the toys that came out this year. I don't necessarily do that all the time, because when I get a toy is when I get a toy, and I don't keep track of release dates. So sometimes when I find something, it's already 2-3 years old. Sometimes it very much is right now. And there's a chance that the top 10 this year could very well end up being actual 2024 toys. It's very, very possible. This will include anything that I unboxed. So it will include vehicles, it will include play sets, and so on and so forth. If it was a toy, if I unboxed it, if I talked about it this year on this channel, it has a chance to be in the top 10. So, that's the idea. That's what I want to do. That's how we're going to do it. And I don't even know where this is going to land exactly. I don't know what is going to actually be on the list, because I know for an idea of how much I covered this year, but I don't know what's going to win. I have no clue whatsoever. I will be figuring it out in real time. Will there be a worst? I don't know. Well, let me do something real quick, just for the sake of, in case that does become a not bad idea. I will put all of this in here so that I have a second list that I can go through. But as it stands right now, Ghost Rider should be up there in the top 10. We're going to figure that out. I am very curious. I did cover a lot this year. I covered a lot this year. Way more than I think I have ever done. I very much put a hard focus these last 2 years on this YouTube, actually doing this as a real thing. Normally, this is very much just like a standing side hobby. I get a video out once a month or something like that. That did not happen this year. We covered a lot this year. So, let me go down here. And first up, right here, Jodie Shooter Craig was on the list. I just don't see it. I don't see her being in the top 10. Not that I don't like her, but I would be very, very surprised. Right now, she's going to fit in the maybe category, but I would be unbelievably shocked if she somehow made it. Tarkin, there's no way. There's no way. He's one that gets deleted without a doubt. We talked about Tarkin. He is really cool, but in terms of a top 10, he's just, for one, he's too basic. He's good, but he's too basic. There's just no way he makes the top 10 list, so he's my first deleted. Bam. Too bad. I'm going to leave him alone. He's also going to fit in the maybe for right now, because I very much liked Too Bad quite a bit. Okay? Absolutely loved Too Bad for what it was worth. Does that make him a top 10? I don't know. We're going to find that out. There's no way. There's no way. I love Man-at-Arms. The cartoon collection is knocking it out. There's no way he's off the list. Ooh. Now, here's a problem. She was good. But do her arms eliminate her from the best this year? I don't know. But there is a real possibility that that could hurt her moving forward. We're going to leave her alone for right now. Dhalsim. It's our first pass. Right now we're just trying to get everybody off the list. So we're going to leave him for right now. Here's Cammy. She stays on the list. That stays on the list. Like, there's just no way it doesn't. Like, that one was really good. That's an absolute true runner. That has a very, very high possibility of making it. There's no way. There's no way. Sorry. No. She's not going to make it. She's not going to make it top 10 this year. There's no way. I don't see her making it either. In fact, I don't know how up there McFarlane toys are going to make it, in all honesty. Mezco King Conan, he stays. He stays. He has a very, very real chance. That is a very solid figure. They absolutely rocked it. The only thing that I wish they would have done is if Mezco Conan would have had a swapped head for a younger Conan, and then we just would have got basically a Conian lineage. that would have been absolutely amazing. That would have been shockingly good. They did not do that, but I really wish they had, because if we had like a young head, you could have easily just taken off some of the armor and whatnot, put the young head on, and then you just basically, it would have given you all the best of all the worlds. It would have been so nice. Teela's. There were a lot of Teela's. This year, I ended up opening like 5 Teela's. Basically all of them. Do any of them make it to the top 10 this year? I'm not 100% sure yet. We're going to leave them for right now. There's no way. For anybody that didn't see that video, I did like these turtles. I did. For what it was worth, I actually did like these turtles. But there's just no way. The competition is way too stiff this year. Goodbye, turtles. 4 movie figures so far. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say I opened the Evil-Lyn, and that's what this video was about, and she's not going to make it to the top 10. I know that. I know that knowing what she's up against. We did talk about both horses this year, but specifically Night Stalker was the one that we opened up this year. He's not going to make it. These were good. We talked about all 4 of these Ninja Turtles, and they were solid. We'll have to figure out if any of them actually make it, because they might have a chance, depending on how stiff the competition gets as we go through this list. I don't know. Oh, well, it says it right there. Top 10 of the year spot? Absolutely. Like, it's not even a question. Absolutely, he makes it into the top 10. He was one of the best things that I opened all year. He impressed me. I heard a lot of people complain that he was too small, that the bike could have been a bit bigger. None of that affected me. I do not share any of those concerns. I thought he was absolutely magnificent. So I don't know how this is going to go, like I said, but we'll be very, very interested. I picked up a second King Conan today. Love that figure. Have that expansion set. Okay. No, that's cool. Like he has a very real shot of making it to the end. King Grayskull, there was nothing really special about him aside from him being King Grayskull. This was this year was a huge Fantastic Four for me. I put together the entire Super Skrull wave, and I did the entire Fantastic Four classics, and I did the entire Fantastic Four modern families. This we're going to get rid of. That was Mikey. Mikey was cool this year. See, there we are. Yeah, that was the full family. I put the full family together this year, and that is really cool. That was a big opening for me, and I basically did them almost all at the same time. That was cool. I was really happy to add that to my shelf. We did a Mega Man this year. I don't see it. I don't see it. That Mega Man making it into the top 10 at the end of this, I would be amazed, in all honesty. I don't see it. No way. No way. I added this figure because I want all 3 of the Spider-Man, specifically from the movies, specifically from Marvel Legends. I wanted them. And I knew that they had problems before I ever added a single one to my shelf, and he is no different. He's not making it into the top 10 this year. Goodbye. Yeah, see, I opened all those at the same time. And that was pretty cool to be able to put the Fantastic Four on the shelf. The only problem I really had was Sue. I kind of wish that she'd have had a different face sculpt. Oh, and Mr. Fantastic by now should be doing more than long fingers. Like, I really don't understand what the long fingers thing is. I do not get it. I do not get it. Why with the long fingers all the time? Stop it. There's a million other things that Mr. Fantastic could do. And yes, this is going to be a rough one. Absolutely. Movie Beastman, there's no way. Bone Throne. The Bone Throne. And yes, mine was broken. It is fixed. I fixed it. I did a couple of shorts explaining how I fixed it, and even explained it to somebody else that was having the same problem on Instagram and kind of got theirs fixed as well. But yes, that was really cool. Aside from the fact that I was not the only one having that problem, that some of these came broken, that was a really cool piece. Hordak, I don't see him making it to the end of the year. No, the Sonic toys, no way. This specifically was about the sparkly one. I picked up that Skeletor with the little bone guy. I can't even remember what it was called or not. And I remember even asking myself when I picked him up if this was like a massive FOMO thing, like if it was something stupid and I should have left it alone, to be fair. But absolutely, I don't think he makes it. The cartoon Skeletor is cool. It is fun, but there's no way. Eternia. Like, I'm going to be honest, I was so busy this year. And did so much, opened so much, built so much, put so much on the shelf, rearranged so much, and just worked and worked and worked, that it completely passed me by that this was this year. I mean, I know that it was this year. It's right here. It's on the list of stuff that we opened and put together this year. I built Eternia this year. Like, I built Eternia this year. That is an absolute, that has to be in my top 10. That, I know how some people will think about that, but like, this is a grail piece. One of the, even historically, one of the best toys ever released. One of the grails that people go after. And not only did it fund, not only did it get built, I actually got one. Like, this was a dream. This was something that I told myself from the very beginning, because of the kind of collector I am. There's no way I was spending $2,000-$3,000 on an Eternia. So I'd already just chalked it up from day one that I was never going to own one of these. It's right there. It's right there. I have it. It's in my garage. I see it every single time I let the dogs out. Like, that's going to make it. Doomsday, Kryptonite Doomsday specifically, he's fine, he's cool, he's big. I don't see him making it to the top 10 this year. These guys were cool. I called them Sin City Turtles, but basically they're these black, white, and color versions of the BTS Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and these are some pretty good figures for what they are. Like, they were really good figures for what they are. I was actually very impressed with them, in all honesty. We're going to leave them alone for right now, see how far they get. The Stranger Thing pack, I don't see that making it. Goodbye. We talked about these. We're going to leave these alone until we get them broke down a bit. Cartoon Collection, too bad. For me, this is another one of those things that there's no way I would sit here and tell you it's the best of the year. There's no way I would put it in a top 10 list. But I would also say it is both fantastic and amazing that we actually got this from the Cartoon Collection. I'm surprised that we got it Cartoon Collection before we got it Origins Collection, though, if you want the truth of it. That actually shocks me. But he's not going to make it. He's in the running. He's in the running because he is my favorite of the Beastmen of Motu. I don't know how far that's actually going to get him when we really start breaking down this whole thing. There's no way. There's no way. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. He will not. Neither of them will make it. I got them about the exact same time. I got them both on sale. They were like $12 or something like that. I did a bit of a joke video talking about them. I had not seen this CGI cartoon yet, and these two figures are the only Masterverse figures currently on the shelf that have a real chance of being removed from the Motu collection. Like, they are bad. They are bad. They're not making it. There's no way. Okay, we got the classic retro version of Scarlet. I liked what they did with her hair, and I liked the figure for what it's worth. And this video actually gave me a good chance to talk about the difference between classified and retro card back, and just how different they really are sometimes, and how it is kind of important to see both lines as somewhat separate. So if you're buying from classified and you're expecting the characters you grew up with, that's not what that's for. That's where the retro card back stuff comes into play. And I had a chance to actually talk about that because I unboxed her. I opened both of these at the same time, and he is a really solid Triclops. Triclops not being one of my favorite characters. He's cool, but he's not like one of my favorite characters, so there's no way that he climbs the ranks to get into the top 10 this year, but he was good. That's a good merman. Like, it's a really solid, really cool merman. And I like the glass eyes to kind of give him that real fish-like look. I thought this was a great figure. I opened a She-Hulk, and she had a shirt on. What am I talking about? So in that video, if there's any interest whatsoever, if you have any interest in any of these, you're looking at the thumbnails for videos that are on this channel. That video talks about how I had to buy her twice. The first one of those that I bought shipped to my house, and I got the box and I turned it around and I seen it. She was shirtless, came with the wrong parts for Super Scroll, and had hairy feet. Like, it was just a mess of, what is this? Like, I was just stupefied that it was sent, and it was so ridiculously bad. And we did not, she's still on the shelf. She's not going to make it into the top 10. I know that, because the other She-Hulk is definitely something that I prefer. I don't hate her by any means. Let me put that out there real quick. But she's not making it to the top 10, but there was a real story with her. That Dr. Octopus is magnificent. Like, that Dr. Octopus is magnificent. I am truly impressed with what they did with him. With the wireframe arms that are actually strong enough that he can stand on them. He can stand on those and hold a Spider-Man in the air at the same time. He's so impressive. And the likeness is really sharp, actually, too. No. No, I like that very much. I like Kilowog very much. I don't think he's making it into the top 10 this year. I think that it's going to be too steep. That's not going to make it. To say that's one of the best toys that I got this year would be really pushing it. But I will say this. I like it a lot. It very much makes me feel like a child when I pick that toy up. Like, when I take that toy off the shelf and, like, I show it to people, or I move it around, or I change its location or something, like, I get a feeling like I'm all the way back in my childhood again. It's just it's made so well, and it feels very much like a toy of that time that it really does impress me. To say it's one of the best things I got this year, that would probably be pushing it, because there's a lot this year. We opened over 103 items on the channel this year, and I just don't see this making it. I'm mainly a Joe guy, but I love a good top 10 with all types of figures. Well, good, because we've got a lot coming. No way. No way. But I will say this. I loved her hands. Like, I took her hands off and I gave them to the Emperor Palpatine so he could be like, so be it, Jedi. Yes, I loved her hands. That was the best thing about her. I only bought her as a necessity to get the dog. That's it. There were 2 figures that went up Ghostbusters this year that I did not want. I was kind of forced into buying them. I don't like Build-A-Figures. I've talked about it multiple times on this channel. She's part of the reason why. That's good. Like, that's good. That figure is magnificent. I mean, it is so good. It's so good. Okay? It's so good. He has a real running chance. None of them do. I haven't talked about this yet too much. I've spent some real time with the NECA figures. I've moved them, I've played with them, I've photographed them here and there. And I've come to the realization I don't think I like a lot of NECA figures. I think that the longer I've sat with them, the more I've realized that I don't think I love this all that much. I don't know if it's their movement, their lack of movement. I don't know if, I don't know. It's hard for me to explain. Something doesn't feel great, and they break easily. Like their props and whatnot break easily. Like, I had a lot of trouble with these guys. And because I was trying to do some photography stuff with them, and one of them, Freddy Krueger, broke during the review. His crotch split. Like, I had high hopes for a lot of this. And buying the 3 slashers actually kind of somewhat removed me from a lot of the NECA toys. Like, I'm very incredibly sparing now with NECA. It's not that I won't buy it. I'm not out of the line, but it has to really, 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 really catch my attention now, or be something that I absolutely want. Because, yeah, and that's exactly, now I just stopped to look at the chat real quick. That's what I mean. Like, I was just moving them around and their arms were messing up and everything like that. And then like some of their props and everything were breaking. Like I said, Freddy's crotch split during the review, and I didn't even do anything that egregious. Like, it was just the basic thing that you do with toys. Do his arms move? Does this do? How high can he sidekick? Oh, look, his crotch split. Like, this really hurt me in terms of the way that I view NECA. Like, it really, really hurt me. And it may have done me a favor, because NECA does seem to cost a lot, so maybe it did me a really good... Maybe it did me a good thing. NECA improved with TMNT, and it's bleeding over to the other lines. Oh, well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. If they're always improving, that's great. But just on that alone, they're not making it. This has a real chance. I know, like I said, my channel's very different than other people. I know people have probably already put this on their list for the year. Like, this was probably a 2023. I don't think this was a 2024 figure. I think it was like a 2023, maybe even a 2022. I don't know. But I didn't get mine until this year. So this is still very much something that is on my mind. As you can see, my Spinneret did have a paint issue, but that Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man on my shelf. Bar none, hands down, he's it. Is my quintessential go-to favorite pick of Spider-Man to do anything Spider-Man with. I love that figure. That has a very, very real chance of making it. Oh, and right when I say that, he's also very, very, very good. Like, he just... Dude, I love the fact that they gave him the city. The city reflects in his eyes. Oh, that is so good. That Superior Spider-Man is sick. You're not going to make it. You're cool. I don't know if I opened up much of anything that I didn't like this year. Cyclone, he's cool, but he's not making it. Oh, he's a good boy. Look at him, he's a good boy. Now we delete him because he's not making it to the top this year. There's no way. You have movement issues. Goodbye. Okay. Look, McFarlane. I only have like two problems with this figure. Two. They're petty, but they're problems. One, he should have come with a bomb. He should have come with a straight-up cartoon bomb to carry and run with. Two, his cape is way too big, too long. However, that's a fantastic figure. You're not making it. You're not making it. Oh, the D&D monsters, I enjoyed those quite a bit. It's a new thing that I'm just kind of starting to get into. They're not going to make it, but I'm very interested in buying up some monsters and whatnot for my barbarian stuff now. He's not making it. Oh, man. Look, the 97 toys are so good. And that Cyclops is top tier. I actually think that Cyclops is good just for being what he is. Not even that he's an X-Men 97. He's just a good all-around Cyclops, period. I will say that if I had a pick of anything, if I could just obtain a toy randomly, it would very much be cool to have the 90s Scott with the jacket, because I do kind of like that look. But I don't have him, I have him. And I'm perfectly fine with the fact that I just have him. Like, it does not bother me at all to just have him. Oh, Mondo Tila? We got that. Look, I waited forever for that Superman, which puts him in a high place. I don't know how far that will get him, but we'll see. I don't expect him to make... Oh, the Adam and Cringer toys. These were fantastic. These are pure joy. Like, they just feel good. That's they just do. They bring pure happiness to my life. Like, not an exaggeration. Pure happiness to my life. Every time I look at them, every time I do anything with them. I love that Splinter. I love that Splinter. Absolutely love that Splinter. And I think he's really cool too. Is he gonna make it? I don't think so. But he is really cool. That Merman is not gonna make it. Oh, that She-Hulk was good. The only thing that would have made that She-Hulk better is if they would have already been far enough to have given the to have given the lower ab crunch. If we just would have held back just the littlest bit longer and got that would have been fantastic. Little curious what that comment is about. Did I lose everybody for a second or something? Kin, Jada Toys Kin, I don't think he's making it. Though none of these Jada Toys have been bad. That Venom is sick. Like, it's so good. You're not making it. The Collector. It was so cool to have the Collector. We're going to leave that be for a moment, but I'm almost positive that will not make it. She will not make it, though it was cool that I finally got a chance to get her. Orko's not going to make it. I doubt you're going to make it. That's really cool that we finally got Demo Man in the Origin style. Does it have a chance? I don't know. I very much doubt it. You are not making it. I've had people even come to the channel and say, oh, no, I know why you said that now. I get it now. I've even had people come onto the channel and tell me, like, I've had comments on that video telling me that I'm wrong, that it's an absolute great figure. It's an okay figure. His head is what ruins him. If he has to always brood. His neck is designed in a way that he has to always brood, and if he ever looks up, he's got a hole in his neck right here. Like, that really, really bothered me. Like, I could not get over it. I tried to get over it. I could not get over it. I think that She-Ra is fantastic. This, I'm still kind of arguing with myself, back and forth, as to whether or not it was worth getting the other Rogue, the X-Men 97 Rogue. Shadow Weaver is cool. He's really cool. He's not going to make it. That Teela's not going to make it. These Foot Soldiers were a neat find, but they're not going to make it. That Battle Armor Skeletor is not going to make it to the countdown. Thunder Punch, no, I don't see him making it. Timber's not going to make it, though I bought that figure just for Timber. Like, I didn't even need that Snake Eyes. Taki, that's a good figure. Like, that's what I mean when I say that there's a lot that is in the running this year that makes this a difficult list. That Taki is unreal. I mean, she is so good. There's the Fire and Ice characters that came out this year. They're in the running for characters this year. Yes, that's cool, but it's very much like an old toy. It's not going to hit the list this year. Destro's not going to make the list. She's not going to make that list. The mustaches are not going to make the list, but they are fantastic. They are absolutely fantastic. And I was looking forward to getting my hands on a Retro Jungle. My Retro Jungle is like busted, though. He's like loose in here. He's loose and he like wobbles, so I may have to buy another one. Unless I could find a way to like fix that, to tighten that up. But I don't know how I would do that. Those are amazing. Like, they're so simple, but they are so good. Dana, no way. Pighead Sunman, no way. Man of War, that guy is cool. That is a good animated Teela. That Batman will not make it. You go do it somewhere else. These are just statues, for what it's worth. Posable different parts, but really just statues. The King, that was cool. I'm actually very thrilled to have him, but no. That was cool to finally add Kingpin to the shelf. He does have some real big figure issues, though. He does not move well. He can be very hard to pose. His feet fall off. That's a thing that I have noticed that nobody seems to talk about. Oftentimes, if you move him around, his feet are like the easiest to pop off of other than any other part. It's very weird, but yeah, his big feet will come off from time to time. But that's not me complaining. I really like this figure, but he has big figure problems. I mean, if you ever had these big chonky figures, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Duke, pretty cool. He's not going to make it to the end of the year, I don't think. I was shocked to finally get my hands on these. Oh, that figure is so good. Okay, so now to figure out what kind of leeway we have actually made. So let me figure that out real quick. What kind of leeway did we make here? We cut this list down to 45 possibilities. Now we've got to tone it down even further. So we went down 45. Now we've got to decide some things that absolutely leave the list. This is where things are going to start getting tricky. So we're going to do another pass here. And see if we can't remove some, okay? That's what we're going to do. Let me fix this there. Okay, so back at the top, she's not going to make it. I really don't think she's going to make it. Let's figure out some guys we can get rid of here. We're going to take all the Teelas off the list, because the biggest, baddest Teela is definitely on here, so that removes them from the list. That Ghost Rider is so good. That Mega Man, I love that Mega Man, but he's not going to make it. I love those turtles. Like, I really do. In fact, if I had to pick from Turtles, I enjoyed getting the IDW Special Colors Turtles even more than I enjoyed getting the Grayskull Turtles. Even though the Grayskull Turtles were cool, I'm going to take the Grayskull Turtles off the list for this year because I don't know if I could put them at the top. I don't think I could put her at the top of anything right now. That Doc Ock is really good. I'm going to remove him. Oh, man, he's so cool. He's so good. The Collector is not going to make it, though it was cool that the Collector even existed this year. She's not going to make it. I've had problems with her. So here's the reason she's being taken off the list, okay? The reason we're going to remove Goblin Queen from the list, like, no question, she's leaving the list. She has two major problems. And I think it's caused by her cape and her heels. She falls down all the time. And it would be one thing if she just fell over sometimes and we would say, oh, come on, it's not that big of a deal. That's fine. She also is mispainted. It's a minor thing, but she's supposed to have, like, her thighs are not supposed to be nylon. They're not supposed to be painted. And that's what we saw in the series. And when we got the figure was fully painted, so she has, like, these nylons on. That's incorrect to the actual series. And for what on a personal note, if the figure keeps falling over, that's a real problem for me. It drives me crazy. It really does, and it makes me. She's not going to make the list because of that. Let me go back to the chat here for a second. Do I have a category list? Do I have a category list of what is the reason for staying? I'll figure out as to why things are considered the best as we go. Like why they actually deserve to be here. Goblin Queen has same issues as White Queen. Yes, she does. So we're going to get rid of her. So Goblin Queen does not make it. This guy, like I said, it's cool that he's even a thing. But Origins has a really uphill battle to be making it onto my top 10, like, of the year. Like, that's a tall ask for something that is this kind of toy. I really, really like her. I really, really like her. That Taki's amazing. In fact, I'm starting to wonder... Let's figure something out real quick. So far, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So I got her. This is going to start getting dicey is what it's going to get. I've kept you on the list as long as I could. I like this character a lot. I mean, I like this character a lot. I don't know anything about her, but her look, she's just so well designed. But I just don't see it happening. Jody, you're gone. You are barely hanging on, but you are. Your arms, if you had the arms that everybody else in your line has, you would have been fantastic. If they wouldn't have cheaped on your staff, you would have been fantastic. And I think it's the high hopes that came with you that are getting you off the list right now. Because the hopes that you had, you didn't live up to. Goodbye. She's off the list. Cammy is still here. That's still here. Conan ain't going anywhere. I don't think that's going anywhere. This is basically a group pick. Which, it's my list. I can cheat if I want to cheat, first off. That, they would not make it. They were bought almost on a necessity. I do like them, but don't misunderstand me. Which technically eliminates them. Okay. It's getting dicey. We're coming down to the wires here. What have I got this to? I'm at 30. 20 guys gotta go. 20 guys gotta go. So, here's the thing. Let's go all the way back here and let's start getting realistic. I do like him a lot. These guys are almost a grail. I've been wanting them for a long time since I missed the chance of getting them. I don't think he makes it. He's gone. They really are so good. Taki ain't going anywhere. Taki's a guarantee. She ain't going anywhere. She is easily one of the best I had all year. That Superman, we're going to take him off the list. He's a personal like, because I waited for so long to get a Superman from this line that I cared enough to put on the shelf, but he's a personal thing. And I know this list does get personal, but he's the kind of personal thing that I can objectively look at him and say, he's not the best of the year. He's just something I was very much excited to get. He's gone. Kilowog is probably one of the best figures I opened from McFarlane this year. Like, he's just really good. Like, he's honestly really good. I don't think he makes it. I think I like him a lot. I think he's really cool. I think his gimmick works really well. I don't think he makes it. Cammy is still barely hanging on. She's not going anywhere. I'm almost positive that at this point, I know. I'm very curious now. So Phoenix isn't going anywhere. She's a guarantee. Conan isn't going anywhere. He's a guarantee. Ghost Rider isn't going anywhere. He's a guarantee. Eternia isn't going anywhere. It's a guarantee. It's freaking Eternia. I almost feel bad putting 2 Spider-Mans on the list. For right now, we're just moving past the Spider-Mans, though. Mondo Tila, that's a guarantee. Taki is a guarantee. Ooh. I actually think they're a guarantee. Because they are 2 of my favorite things. If I have to pick one thing, look, I opened him late. So I'm going to be fair here and say that even though I like him a lot, I think realistically, the Battle Armor Skeletor is probably better than he is. If I'm being fair about it. This is getting tough. Evelyn is gone. Fire and Ice versus Prince Adam and Cringer. That's tough. I mean, that Cringer is that Cringer is so good. It just brings joy to my life. Frazettas are emotional attachment. Figs themselves are nice, but top 10 contenders, meh. And I get that. That's kind of where I am too, is that there's a lot of problems with those figures where I love Fire and Ice, but do I love them enough that I cheat them into that spot? I don't know. That's getting tricky. So, okay, let's go back up. I'm sorry, Grizzlord, you're out. Fishman, you're out. Doc Ock, you're really cool. I mean, I am very honestly impressed. Is the Dr. Octopus, because of what he can do, is he on the list? Or is that Superior Spider-Man so good that even basically just being another Spider-Man, does he win over the Dr. Octopus? Getting dicey here. We're at the tough times. Kilowog really is so good, though. I really do like that Batman. I don't know. I really like him. I'm going to take the Fire and Ice off the list. And if I had to say so, even though Tigra is fantastic, I like that Dark Wolf more than I liked her. Here's the thing. I think if her Panther would have been articulated, it probably would have given her more pull, in all honesty. I'm going to take her off. We're at 24. She-Ra, I'm sorry. You're gone. What do we got? We got Phoenix, Conan, Ghost Rider, Eternia, Tila, Taki, Colossus, Kilowog. I think I'm adding the Bone Throne. Oh man, those turtles are good. Oh, damn it, damn it, damn it. It's getting tough. It's getting real tough for me all of a sudden. I gotta get rid of what I gotta get rid of. You're gone, too bad. Cammy was done really well. But if I'm being perfectly honest, she's an absolute standout. That is kind of a big deal to me. I was able to put together the entire family and did like I did like a full video on it when I got them all too. I brought them all and I did the whole thing and I unboxed all of them at the same time basically, and I talked about how cool it was to finally have the modern family. Does that add them as one spot on the list? I think that's cheating even for it being my show. That's cheating, so they're gone. These, on the other hand, these are an actual 4-pack of figures that came that way. Like, they came that way. And yes, it is sad that he's been removed. Bone Throne versus Eternia. Eternia wins that argument, like, hands down. It's not even close. Bye, Doctor. She-Hulk is gone. Okay, we're at 19. I gotta knock 9 people off this list. You're gone. You almost made it. You made it real far. Okay. Are you cool enough to stay for the whole thing? That I really did like him. I really, really liked him. That Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man I've ever put on the shelf. He's almost a guarantee he's not going anywhere. That Spider-Man is really good. I mean, I really, truly love it. He's absolutely fantastic. But if I had to pit them against each other, if I had to put one Spider-Man on this list, it would end up being the Spider-Man. Here's the thing. I like you a lot, Adam. I do. I had fun. We did comical pictures and everything, man. But you are a McFarlane figure. You do have problems. I see those problems. Do you make it to the best of the year against contenders like this? I don't think you do. I don't think you even with all the nostalgia and everything attached, I still don't think you even edge out Kilowog. That is a really, really good figure I opened this year. So I think he's gone. You bring me a lot of happiness. That's the Venom I've always wanted. Taki. Man, he is so good. Is he better? Okay. What am I at? I've got it down to 17. 7 items have to go. There's one. There's two. Oh, man. I'm having trouble with her. Do I justify her as being one of my all-time favorite characters? I don't know. I think she might be out. She might be out. You are a McFarlane figure. The disrespect on that line. I'm sorry. I guess that wasn't it? That was, yes. I very much did that, didn't I? I do love that Batman. Don't misunderstand. We're just at the absolute nitty-gritty part here. And there were a lot of solid figures. And I think this is what happens. I think we've reached a point here where there were great figures everywhere this year. But let us be honest. When you're buying up all your figures, she's gone. When you have this Phoenix that shows up, and absolutely it's a showstopper. When you have that Conan, and you pay money for these, okay? That's another thing too. McFarlane $20 figure is going to have a lot of trouble making it to the end of the year unless I do a list talking about McFarlane figures. Unless I do a list talking about that specific price point. But I'm not doing that. This is everything that I opened this year. $20 Batman can't compete with that. $20 Batman can't compete with the Bone Throne. Like, that's a really cool thing to have. It definitely can't compete with the Eternia. These turtles are really hanging on. I think they're done a lot of favors by being that cool. Like, that color scheme really makes them cool. And the fact that BTS is getting better and better as they do these figures. They really are. They're getting better and better and better. And the IDW turtles are very solid. We like them a lot. You are hanging on. And as was repeated with Batman, you're a McFarlane figure. And you're up against heavy hitters. There's got four things left to remove from a list here. 4. So it's getting down to the absolute gritty here. We got to delete 4 figures. 4 figures. She's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere. Is the Bone Throne... Here's the thing. I'm surprised I'm going to do this. The Bone Throne is going to leave the list. Because here's the problem. The Bone Throne is a cool thing, and it is really cool. The figure that it comes with is basic. It's a basic Skeletor with a little bit better paint. It has the Alcala head. And mine showed up broken, and I had to figure out how to fix it myself. And then when I put in the request and stated that it was broken, this is not necessarily the Throne's fault. The issue that I got back from the company was we're willing to reimburse you. But they only reimbursed me like up to $60. Which wasn't the cost of another Bone Throne. And at the time, of course, that's what forced me to have to look into fixing it myself. So the Bone Throne is out. Because I can only do what I can do here, and we have to do what we have to do to eliminate. We're down to 3. 3 more items leave this list. And it's getting touchy. It's getting touchy. Three items. He might be gone. He is really cool. And he made it way further than I ever expected any McFarlane figure to make it. You are really cool. Goodbye. He's out. There's two left. Marvel Legends. I think you might be on the chopping block. That is a really cool Skeletor, but this is getting tough. I didn't expect this list to get this hard, but it is. This is getting tough now. I agree. The Bone Throne is a glorified display stand. It is really cool, though. And the Skeletor is average. And you're right. Did we really need another just to get the Alcala head? It is starting to become a Marvel Legends showdown, isn't it? McFarlane didn't make it. He really didn't. He hung on longer than I expected. There's two people left. Two figures gotta go. Do I drop a spider? We got 3 spiders on here. That is the Venom I have always wanted. You're gone. If I have to pick, that is the Spider-Man I have always wanted. That is the Venom I have always wanted. Always. That really gives them a lot of staying power. Even though, if I'm being perfectly honest, that Venom, he has pins, and he is an older feeling figure. But because he is like solid black, that really helps the pins. It helps him to avoid a lot of what would bring him down. So, yeah. There's something that I've wanted for absolute years. We're here. We're here. We got one elimination. Is it Venom? Is Venom gone? Or does Venom edge them out? Even though I've wanted them for so long, because of my love for Spider-Man? Who's on the chopping block here? It's between you and you. That is tough. Those are the 3 that have the chance of hitting the block. Those are the 3 that are on the chopping block. Either Venom goes bye-bye, Colossus Juggernaut go bye-bye, you're gone. Okay. There it is. Wow. That was actually tough. Like, harder than I expected it to be. So, my 10 this year, the 10 figures that blew me away this year, that were absolutely the best that I opened. 1, that Phoenix. The Phoenix was sick. I mean, I never expected her to survive. Like, I didn't expect to get another Phoenix, let alone one that was so much better than the Phoenix that we already got. Like, I mean, it blew me away to the point where in her video, I had to stop and talk about this one because it pretty much made her completely irrelevant. The Conan, the King Conan, is so good. King Conan not only is great, he pretty much set the idea for bringing me back into Mezco. Like, I'm very interested to see what Mezco does with other figures that I have interest in just because of this Conan. I mean, he is fantastic. He's the only thing I could say is that Mezco figures seem to run small. So next to everybody that I put Conan next to, Conan seems tiny, and that does bother me a bit. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting some other Conans. But he is really good. This Ghost Rider was unreal. 2 absolute standouts this year from Marvel Legends. And let's just be honest here. Marvel Legends was rocking it this year. I mean, they were absolutely rocking it this year. It shocks me just how good Marvel Legends was this year because they did it, man. They absolutely wrecked shop this year. Eternia. I already talked about that. I opened Eternia. Like, I put together Eternia. Eternia is in my garage right now. It's unreal. Like, to me, that is unbelievable. That is a thing that I was for sure would never happen for me. Like, I was absolutely for sure I would never have an Eternia. I have one. These turtles are unexpectedly great. Like, and if I'm being perfectly honest, they also could have hit the chopping block. There was a couple of moments in there when I was looking at them, I almost took them out for Venom, in all honesty. But, like, they really are so well done. And I think the color scheme is what helps them. I honestly do. I think it's just very, very stylized, and it really brings them to life and makes them stand out as something special. That Skeletor is so cool. And I'm hoping, like, this is the kind of thing that this line needs. New Eternia and New Eternia in terms of the Masterverse figures, they need more of this. Full-scale reimaginings of absolute fantastic figures. And I think that he very much opens the door for that. Because, like, if you look at, like, what they did with the Fisto recently, like, that's what I'm talking about. That is a full reimagining of a character, bringing it up into, like, a barbarian scale. Like, it really, really hits hard. That, guys, I wasn't kidding. I had it narrowed down when I was buying Spider-Man figures. I either wanted this or the first appearance Spider-Man, and I knew it was one of those two that was the best Spider-Man price point wise on the market. And I do mean on the market. And he won. The more I fought with myself, he ended up winning that argument. He is, for me, the best Spider-Man you can possibly put on your shelf at the price point that he existed at. That Mondo Tila is a dream. It's a dream. She is one of those things that originally, like, I didn't know if I was even going to get her. Like, I missed the She-Ra. I didn't get the He-Man. This was a line that I was staying away from. 1/6 is not something I buy into. It's big. The figures can cause real problems. They take up a lot of space. Then they say they're doing Tila, and they start releasing pictures of her. And I was like, dang. They got me. And I bought her. And she's also, what also kind of makes her is that she's unique. I don't have big figures like that. I don't buy in 1/6 scale. So adding a Mondo Tila to my desk, where she's always there, like, she's magnificent. And her sculpt is absolutely terrific. She is really, really impressive. This Taki is fantastic. Like, she is unbelievably well done. And she's been my go-to character since Soul Calibur 1. Actually, I think I was using Taki in Soul Blade. Yeah. Like, yeah, I think so. I think I may have been using her literally from the start. Like, I absolutely love Taki. And they could have cheaped out on doing a Taki figure. But I bought the Storm Collectibles, and it's one of the first Storm Collectibles that I ever bought into. And it's not a line that I'm, like, super into. I don't, like, jump around and, like, be like, oh my gosh, Storm Collectibles, and buy a whole bunch of stuff. But, like, when they released Taki, I had to have her. I bought her. I am not disappointed. I mean, it's that simple. I am not disappointed. These guys barely edged out Venom. Both of these, both Venom and them, have one major thing going for them. I have wanted them for years. Like, that Venom is the Venom that I have wanted for years. But Colossus and Juggernaut, this 2-pack, these figures, are figures that I have wanted for years. And, unlike Venom, I had different Venoms, but never that Venom. I never had him on my shelf, ever. This one right here, though, the reason they won is because I put together half of that Juggernaut, and he has been sitting on my radio, half of a Juggernaut, taunting me for years. Like, not an exaggeration, multiple years he has sat on the right speaker in my garage. There is a radio that I use when I work out, and on the right there is a speaker, and half of a Juggernaut is sitting on top of the speaker, and it has been incomplete for multiple years. Then they released this 2-pack. So, getting a chance to add this to the shelf, that's what edged them out over Venom. That's what edged them out over Venom. It's the idea that I got to complete the figure. And otherwise, I don't think they would have edged out Venom like that. Because I think Venom, for being as big as he is and having all the movement and everything, he may be arguably a better figure. But because this completes something that has literally been staring me in the face for years, it really makes me appreciate them that much more. Because I finally took that half of a Juggernaut, and I boxed him up, and I put him in a bag, and he's gone. He's gone now. I'm gonna sell him for like $5 at a toy table, and very much just tell people, look, if you really want to try to get the rest of him, it's your problem now. Like, okay, you've been there too, and I believe that, man, because yeah. Hey, what's up? We just did the top 10. And those are the 10 figures, the 10 best opens that I did this year. I'm actually pretty surprised about it, in all honesty. Didn't expect it to get that tough towards the end. But we narrowed that list down from 103. And that gives you an idea of just how crazy it's been this year. Like, I've been doing a lot this year on this channel. Like, this channel has seen a lot of work this year. I've been opening things like crazy. Hundred and three unboxings this year so far. And actually, yeah, 103 unboxings this year so far. That's how many videos technically came out this year just for unboxes on this channel. And every single one of them had some sort of story or fandom discussion that was bigger than, hey, look, Jean Grey. And like I've said time and time again, if there's no story behind the figure, if I just buy a figure for the sake of, hey, look, a figure, then it more than likely will not make the cut at the end of the year when I figure out what stays and what goes. There's just no way. Like, why? Like, what's the point? You know what I mean? And so that's another part that I am working on right now. I'm finishing up the shelves stuff now. I have about 3 or 4 more of those videos that I'm working on. And then all the shelves will have been arranged. And all the side stuff and everything will be put together. And I will have gone over the entire collection again, because I do this at the end of every year. I go over the collection. I figure out what stays, what goes, what rearranges. Now I know what the best opens this year were. Now I've got to figure out what actually stays on the shelf, what gets moved around, what happens with the collection in general. And most of it is going to stay the same. For what it's worth, I have a couple of things that I've got to move to new areas and stuff like that, but we'll see. And I'm very interested in stuff coming down the road, actually. Like, I'm curious how some stuff, because I am actually, now I'm thinking about it. Let me see. Oh, it's not loading. There we go. I don't know. Let's open this. Yeah, okay. I'll need to do another video at some point talking about things we're looking forward to in 2025, probably. Stuff like that. The next time I come back, I imagine it'll be another unboxing video. And I'll probably have a couple items added. A couple of pickups, because there's still a couple figures this year that are supposed to be on their way, and like that I've got notice that they have been shipped. They're actually supposed to be on the way, and I don't know actually. Probably the holidays, to be fair. The holidays gets in the way of that stuff, and it's fine. They should. The holidays should get in the way of that, because absolutely we should give time to actual workers to be with their families, not send me toys. You know what I mean? Let's see. I'm with you. I've had over 200 figure plus, and 30 of them was Mezco, and 20 was Hot Toys. And don't get me started with the NECA TMNT. Yeah, you've been buying. You got... What? Your Cat's Lair showed up today? See, my figure of the year top 3. Jada Street Fighter Dalsim second, and Bison first, Cammy. All 3 Jada? Man. Dude, Jada's a good line. It's absolutely a good line. I'm actually very surprised that that none of them made it this year onto my top 10. But I'll say that this year was crazy with how much I was split getting different things from all different lines and whatnot, which kind of really put it difficult. And I got a bunch of things this year that were like absolutes. They were things that I've like been looking for a very long time, stuff I've been looking forward to for a really long time. So everything that I picked up was just like an absolute, it was just like an absolute win. I'm going to tell you, this year has been one of the best collection years I have ever had. Really, that's awesome. Like I said, this year, I opened Eternia. I added Eternia to the shelf. I got the Spider-Man that I've looked for absolute forever. I got a ridiculous amount of Masterverse. And some of them were unbelievably good. I got Fire and Ice figures this year. Like, go 5 years back. Go 5 years back and talk to that person and tell them you're going to have Fire and Ice figures. They probably laugh in your face. Like, the idea that we were going to get something like that was unreal. I got a Taki this year. I got a Phoenix that was so egregiously good, she made the old Phoenix completely irrelevant. We got a Ghost Rider this year, which I have been asking for almost a decade. I know everybody loves Johnny. Danny is my Ghost Rider, has been my Ghost Rider. When I very first discovered the character, it was in a Spider-Man comic, it was Danny. When I very first read those books, any of the Ghost Rider books that I was able to find, it was Danny. For when I got into him, when I even discovered he was a thing, it was Danny. So when Johnny came back, it was like, oh, that's really cool. But it's just like all those people that, like, in a way, it's funny to watch all these people. Like, I had a buddy, my friend Shane. He told me for years, he was like, oh man, Barry is the Flash, blah, blah, blah. Barry's my favorite Flash. He's always been my favorite Flash. I'm a Barry guy through and through. And then one day, I caught him saying something that I was like, wait. Because he said something and I said, you realize that Wally was the Flash when you were growing up. And he was like, oh, no, I grew up with Barry. And I was like, no. You're too young and or too old to have grown up with Barry. Like, Barry was dead. Barry died in Crisis and was gone for a very, very, very long time. And he's like, no, because we watched that Justice League cartoon growing up. And I was like, buddy, that was Wally. And he's like, no, it wasn't. Yeah, it was. And I remember after he finally realized that, he started being like, oh. And then it was funny to watch him kind of go back through his basic life history and be like, oh crap. I do like Wally. Like, that's because that's the way that some of these characters work. Like, sometimes these characters get swapped in and out, and the one that you're growing up with, by the time an original comes back or somebody gets replaced or whatever, that's like not yours. Like, that happens a lot where you have, and that's the reason we get things like, that's my Batman, that's my Ninja Turtles, that's my Motu. That's the reason that happens, is because we get attached to the thing that we're growing up with, and that very much was a thing for me. Danny Ketch was Ghost Rider. Like, I didn't know who Johnny was. That character didn't mean anything to me. So while everybody was very excited to get Johnny Ghost Riders and things like that over and over and over again, I was waiting patiently forever And I kept saying, if I'm going to buy a Ghost Rider, one Ghost Rider, I'm going to put Ghost Rider on the shelf, it has to be Danny Ketch. Nobody else. Danny is the Ghost Rider that I want. And before I buy anything else, before I go ghost riding all over the place, I have to add Danny to the shelf. Then all of a sudden, like Marvel Legends was like listening in on my conversation, like literally right after having that argument on one of my podcasts. I literally had that discussion on a podcast. And the next month, they do a reveal and they're like, Danny Ketch Ghost Rider. And I was like, I just couldn't believe it. I was absolutely stupefied that it happened like that. Putting Danny, like, it's just been one thing after another, after another, after another. This has been an unbelievable year for collecting. And you know what? There's even things that I don't talk about on this channel necessarily. I got really solid Gunpla this year. I added some real pieces to that shelf that we don't really talk about because Gunpla is kind of a thing that just like I do almost privately. I talk about it, but like that's a thing that I do for myself. And I think it's because like if I start getting into like videos for Gunpla, it's going to be a lot of, oh, well, you should have painted that and you should have done this and I'm a super builder and I don't care. Like there's a difference in the communities, at least as far as I've witnessed, where like I have a Battle Cat. I love this Battle Cat. It's fantastic. I put him on my shelf. I'm happy. You're happy. That's the end of it. But I don't see on a regular basis where somebody comes in and they're like, yeah, well, that Battle Cat, if you would have painted it or done this or changed that or done these claws or added this sculpting putty and blah, 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 it would have been a lot better. Like, I don't see that in toys the same way that I do in Gunpla. In Gunpla, it happens a lot where I'll say, you know, hey, I got this. And then they'll be like, oh, blah, blah, paint issue and this and that and yada, yada and everything else. Because that community is way more serious. And since I'm not one of those guys that gets crazy with Gunpla, I just like to, like, make them. I'm okay. I shave them down. I sand them out. I make sure they're smooth and they're put together correctly, and I put them on there. And I do mostly 1/44 HG. I do some real grades. I've done one master. I've done one perfect ever. Like that's just a hobby for me, but not a hobby like one that like I plan to be an expert in. I just like to mess around with them. But saying that, I put some of my favorite Gunpla on the shelf this year. Like, it's just been one thing after another, after another, after another this year. And I've picked up things that I never thought that I would get my hands on. Like, here's something that's just dumb, but it's great for me. I got the white Darth Vader this year. He hasn't come up on the unbox list yet, but I got the white Darth Vader this year. The white suit Vader. You know, he's only in like one comic panel, but for some reason when I seen him all that time ago, I was so mesmerized by that one panel, and then they were like, by the way, there's actually a toy of that. And like I got him this year. I know I probably could have got him a lot earlier, but I got Kingpin this year. Like, Kingpin was another one that disappeared for a very long time. And I got weird stories this year that were really fun. Like the fact that I was sent a shirtless She-Hulk. I was sent a topless She-Hulk this year, which really gave me a story to tell and mess around with anyway. So that was fun. Like, I added a bunch of new shelves this year. Redesigned the room basically from the ground up. It was a really, really good collection year. Awesome. Oh! And I also did some stuff this year that was pretty cool too. Like, I actually got to meet some cosplayers and whatnot this year and actually get some autographs and whatnot, some of the bigger players out there and whatnot, which was actually pretty cool. Like, I don't know. This has been a really good collection year for me. It really has. It's been a hard year in different ways for me and my friends, my family, my group. There's been a lot going on. There were family deaths and difficulties throughout the course of the year. And that's life in general. This year did hit harder than most other years. But I think what got me through it, and maybe what added to the fact that it was such a good toy year this year for me, was I think I needed it. I think the hardships I was facing forced me to kind of pay attention and find things that I wanted, liked, and could settle into. Things I could focus on. And you know what else happened this year? Titan started re-releasing all of the omnibus for Conan the Barbarian this year. So I've been buying those. I don't think this year has appreciated the way my bank account looks, but I sure had fun in the moments that I found to have fun, and I had real fun. Like I said, that Cringer and Adam that I added this year, that's just fun. That just brings fun to my life. I got a classic Batman and Robin in a Batmobile. This was a good collection year. It was hard to narrow that list down. And it was hard, in all honesty, to stop myself from basically filming everything. It was hard to guarantee that I would film everything. That's what I'm going to say. It was tough this year to tell myself, stop, Bill. Don't open that. You have a show to do. Like, that was hard. Like, there are things here right now that I would like to see in these hands, not in these boxes. Right now. I'm not doing that because so far this show has done me a lot of favors. It's been a real good thing for me to have this show and to be able to talk to everybody and hang out and share toys and do something that I genuinely love to do. And I'm not gonna put a problem on that. I'm not gonna create a situation where all of a sudden, like, you know, I just go and open everything up and then there's no show to do, because in a way that's kind of become part of my collection, is actually doing the videos and talking to everybody and getting my ideas out there and discussing fandom and interests. That's what I want to do. But I can tell you, like when I got that Cammy, I wanted to open that Cammy up the day I got her. I didn't want to wait for the show. I did wait for the show. And I waited longer than I thought I would for the show, too, because she simply would not win that vote. And some of the figures back there, in all honesty, it's crazy. It has been a crazy year. Here's hoping 2025 is both a good year for toy collecting, a good year for our fandom, a good year for our community, and a good year around for our families, our friends, and our lives. Wishing everybody the best on this next year. Let's hope that 2025 is fantastic. And for what it's worth, on YouTube, I'm hoping that I can get myself more into the state of being able to watch a lot of other videos and whatnot and kind of keep up with some other YouTubes, because there's a lot of people out there that I want to follow and I want to watch, and I just haven't been able to do so. It could be tough. And especially because of the way videos work, where oftentimes like one figure will come out and like 80 something people are talking about that one figure, and how many times can you hear the same thing about the same figures over and over and over again before you're like, all right, well, like I'm on video 7. I don't think I have to hear about this guy anymore from anybody else. Like, that happens. But I am looking forward to the the Nerdies. I don't know why, but I've kind of made it a thing now. When Nerdzoic does that, does the Nerdies, I kind of started watching those. I do like those. But anyways, guys, appreciate you hanging out. Appreciate you talking. We got the list. It's narrowed down. We got to 10. I don't think there's anything else to do here tonight. I am going to... I don't know. It's only like 7:40. I'm going to burn an hour, go pick up my wife, figure out what to do. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for enjoying the stream. That's all I got. Next time I come back, it'll probably be with some actual normal release videos. But the next time I come back for a live, it'll be for more random unboxes. And I think also we're going to start putting that into the thing where when we do these random unboxes, they're also going to be vote for what we're doing as well. So I'll be able to say like, hey, are we opening up Motu, Jada, Jack's Pacific, whatever. And then, we'll get that and then we'll narrow down the things from there. But I still got a lot of stories to tell about a lot of these toys, a lot of stuff. I still got a lot of G.I. Joes and whatnot on the floor and everything that are waiting to be unboxed. As you can tell, this is the tallest stack in the room, but that's because Masterverse is my absolute go-to toy line. It's one of the few things that I'm actually under the impression that give me enough time, I will probably complete this toy line. But I'm going to get out of here. Guys, thanks again. Later on.